Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
This is Owen Cotter, host and co-host Marlene Mars Garza of Sci-Fiction Star Wars and scifiction.com. Let everybody pour in the room here for a second, see how everybody's going. This is simulcast out to both our Facebook pages, facebook.com sci-fiction and sci-fiction Star Wars, as well as our Twitter and our YouTube. I'm going to go over some little information here. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, bringing you a lot of quality content, some really good news that we're going to be bringing. I'm not going to drop all the news at once, but we will be bringing you some amazing coverage coming up with some top-level Star Wars actors, some premium Star Wars and science fiction related content. So let everybody pour in the room. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. We're going to be coming to you in November 5th and 6th, I believe, from Plano, Texas, at an event called Retro Expo, where I will be doing some hosting and panel moderation with some of the actors from all the sci-fi. You got Anthony Daniels, Sam Witwer, actors like Bruce Boxleitner, who played Tron, some very well-known science fiction actors and actresses will be at that, as well as some amazing creative artists. If you're in the Plano, Texas area, check out on Facebook Retro Expo. That will be in Plano, Texas at the Plano Event Center. After that, we're going to be coming to you from South Texas Collector Expo in Laredo, Texas. That will be, it's going to be cool. That's going to be, was it November 11th?
It's going to be November 11th to the 13th.
11th to 13th.
We're probably just doing the 11th.
So and the 12th, probably 11th and some of the 12th. Right?
Some of the 12th. Yeah.
We got to go out of town on the business trip on the 13th. And then after that, December, we're going to be doing some more. We got the radio show. Mm-hmm. If you like radio audio versions, not just video, we are on Subspace Network. We have a channel on there called Subspace, Dare to Wonder. Shout out to Mr. Randolph Allen and Mr. Russ Haslage of Subspace Network and the Federation for that. Not Star Wars, but Star Trek, but they do a lot of Star Wars already and Doctor Who content, all kind of stuff.
Check it out, guys.
But yeah, we're going to actually be bringing on some amazing guests on that soon as well. We're going to be bringing on actor tonight, David J. Fielding, who was the original Zordon for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He'll be, I think, all 70-something original episodes for the Zordon arc. He's also an accomplished author who does some amazing stuff. He was steampunk and other things like that. So he's going to be on the radio show, which will be airing this Thursday at 7 to 8 p.m. CST time, Central Standard Time on Subspace and the iHeartRadio app. We also are going to be bringing out some, the week after this week, not this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday, I'll go ahead and drop the announcement. We are going to be having a radio show. We'll probably be bringing him on live streams down the road.
Yes.
The executive producer of Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, Mr. Tom Danheiser. He's going to be on our radio show, not this week, but next. We'll be doing the pre-recorded segment, probably 30, 40 minutes. Give you some liquid gold goodness. He's a huge sci-fi geek, by the way.
Super
sci-fi, awesome. Star Wars, Star Trek, everything, you name it. He's going to be coming in on the show. We're also going to be bringing in some live streams to this channel, not just Sci-Fiction Star Wars, but also all of our sub-channels, Twitter, Sci-Fiction Regular, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and everything. We are going to be doing some stuff that we're working on. I'm not going to drop it too much, but we're working possibly on working with a brilliant gentleman, Mr. Eric, and the guy that runs it, Mr. Michael Havens of the IC Collectors Convention. We love the IC Collectors Convention. We're going to go, we're working on doing some live streams with them and some stuff with some coverage.
And this would be when?
May 26th, 7th, and 8th, I believe. Something like that. Around Memorial Day weekend. Go to their site, IC Collectors
Usually it's Memorial Weekend.
.com. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend around that time.
It was awesome when we went this year.
It's amazing. They had somebody, and they're going to have some reoccurring guests. I think Mr. Ian McDermott's going to be back, and they've got a whole gauntlet of some of the best quality people you'll ever meet. It's heavy in vintage Star Wars collecting and modern. They have a lot of guests, a lot of toys, collectibles. If you're a fan of sci-fi, pop culture, cartoons, animation. I mean, if you need to get that figurine, that last 17 Star Wars Power of the Force, or if you need to get
even the old school, not just only Star Wars, but you have also
Ninja Turtles,
Strawberry
Star
Shortcake,
Trek,
Dracula,
models,
Frankenstein. There's a
custom
Tons.
creators. They had a guy that had a Hulkbuster armor with an R2D2 head. There were some prop builders there.
I think if you guys ever saw in our TikTok or our Facebook, we had like a little short video of all the R2D2s, like a Mickey Mouse one, your regular one.
The red one's Chris
amazing.
Luffels. He has an amazing red one from Episode 1 Star Wars from the Royal Nabooian Starship. He built, custom built. That's an amazing one. BB-8s, Mandalorian Mercs are there, the 501st Legion.
Which this event is going to be in Nashville,
Tennessee. And so what happened was this past year, it got so large, and it's amazing, that they actually this year have a 300-acre, I believe, RV park. And also they have a massive venue right across the street that they're going to be hosting all the vendors and cosplayers.
What did he say? What was the square footage of that?
That is massive. I don't know, but I know the exact square foot of that. But if you go to their Facebook page, ICCC, or to their TikTok or any of that, they'll have the video content also on Instagram, I believe, as well. ICCollectorsConvention.com. But they have all the details at that site. And it's going to be amazing. They're going to have, this is the biggest year. It's their big ramped up. They're ramping up. So we've been there since year one. I can tell you, these people care generally about the fan base, and they are very passionate, and they really understand. And you have a lot of conventions, but they're more corporatized. This event really cares. They don't even charge for parking. They're amazing. They have this RV park that's 300 acres, and basically it's a great deal too. Hotel room blocks for hotels. They're going to bring in thousands of some of the most popular, greatest vendors and people, artists, people that have been dealing with pop culture's main actors from some of the Star Wars and Star Trek. All this, he's going to bring a whole bunch of stuff. They're going to be doing announcements on this over the next coming months. It's in May. 8 months from now?
In May.
That's going to be a good one. And then after that, we probably will be going back to San Diego Comic-Con in July of 2023. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
This year, when we went to San Diego, it was my first time. We were helping our friend Alan
Ling of Genesis 2. Gen 7 Comics.
I was in his booth, but it is big. But so much, like even your 90s kids, because I'm a 90s kid. You have Nickelodeon, Disney, you have Paramount, you had Dragon Ball Z, you had Browser, you had Legos, you have Mattel. So much, even the Funko Pop, like the big bags. I wanted to get one. Yes. Oh, we got some Tamagotchis, and
they took my idea. They created the Yoda one, the baby Yoda one.
It is amazing. So I wouldn't doubt that this year it's going to be even way more and more people, because I think after the whole pandemic, which it really sucked, but with the pandemic now, I mean, now not that it's no longer here, they are, bringing so much content, and hopefully this year will be a lot more people. But it was a lot.
It's a lot.
A lot of foot traffic.
A lot of foot traffic on there. And they had so many amazing, like just eye candy. If you've never been to San Diego, it's a full sensory overload. You walk in there, you've got massive statues, props, robots. I mean, a full life-size statues of the entire cast, full size, right there of a Gundam statue, 9 feet tall, He-Man, Dragon Ball Z, Infinity Gauntlet. That an Infinity Gauntlet with $25 million in gems guarded by security with earpieces. And I was like, wow. Star Wars stuff too. They had an amazing Star Wars
replica.
Hasbro and the Star Wars Topps trading card company, which will be bringing that interview here soon. We collected so much from San Diego, as well as the last ICC. We've got a few more pieces of that we're putting together. But we could between that, we got some podcasts we're going to be putting together. We got I think 70 or 80 interviews and various on-camera podcasts combined. So we're bringing all that to a lot of good content. We dropped a lot of it already. We've got a few more pictures that we're going to be bringing from some of the other bits of images and some photography. A lot of good stuff. One of the coolest things that we're really excited about this year is the radio show, which also allows us the ability to bring in guests to the live stream. So this is kind of a preliminary early first version test. We're going to be working on, this logo in the upper right here, we're retooling that. We're going to make it a little bit more pop, some 3D renders. We've got some people working on that. It's going to have a little bit different color scheme, but it's going to all be 3D. It's going to be dope. So actually having a little bit more of a kind of a Star Wars.
They might be the opposite, huh? For us is right, for them
there might be left. To the right corner. So that's cool. But the amazing.
Let's see our chat. See if anybody
I'll
has.
see if anybody want to comment on there.
You guys can comment.
Chat overlay here. Let's put the chat over. We'll put the chat overlay there for a second. Anybody want to say hi? Say hi to us here.
Say hi.
Just trying to test out the chat.
Yeah, this is the first time that we have a
live stream
where we're what do you call it?
Simulcasting. We're simulcasting out to all social networks and platforms.
Yeah, we want to engage with our followers too, because we're very passionate at what we do too. We're super geeks as well.
Ultra geeks.
Major.
Super geeks. I mean, we're big into comics, collecting Star Wars, all this stuff. Good evening, Mr. Michael Morlock. How are you doing there, sir?
Hello.
Michael is one of our big fans. He is an amazing gentleman. He's also into sci-fi and all the goodies. He's also Battlestar Galactica. We'd like to shout out to Michael Morlock and also our good friends New York Pete and Chris Tipsy Toaster of Interfleet Broadcasting.
Yes.
Those guys, we're looking at doing some work with them. They're very, very, very good guys. They do the Battlestar Galactica community. Appreciate you, Michael, by the way, testing that out. I really do. We're trying to get all the kinks and all the stuff finally tuned to get everything working on this thing. But Interfleet Broadcasting is amazing. If you want to go check them out on Facebook, it's Interfleet IFB for short broadcasting on Facebook. They've got an amazing page. They just for their anniversary just interviewed Glenn Larson, Eric Larson, his son. Mr. Glenn created Knight Rider, Battlestar Galactica, Nightman, Magnum, anything 80s retro and early 90s. He basically created all of it. Well, his father passed away a few years ago, but his son owns and runs Larson Enterprises or Larson Production, something like that. But he runs that, and he's an amazing interview with him. We'd actually like to bring, if you're watching this, Eric, we'd like to have you on our broadcast sometime soon as well, because I'm a huge Battlestar. I love Battlestar. And I actually used to run into Richard Hatch a lot at conventions. Super nice guy. I really miss him, man. I sat and talked to him for like 30, 40 minutes one time just about all kind of geek stuff. And he really did get the fan base as far as your father and you as well. I'd like to have you on as well. What other guests we got coming up? We got David Fielding tonight, Tommy Danheiser from Coast to Coast AM. Check that out. We want to bring him on some live streams. Oh, our buddy Ethan McDowell from Space Command, who you may know from Marvel, Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus, The Walking Dead, veteran of that series. He's going to be coming on soon.
Super nice guy.
Yes, Ethan's awesome. We love you, Ethan. You're super awesome. Yes. Also, Mr. Jacob Charlot, another great actor who was in Space Command as well. He plays like a synthetic robot and all this with Mr. Doug Jones. Doug Jones, too. Shout out to you, Doug. You're awesome.
You're awesome.
Yes, we really loved your role in Saru, of course, in Discovery, but also always a big ape sapien in Shape of Water was awesome. And we just watched Hocus Pocus 3.
Two.
2, sorry. 3.
Hocus Pocus 2. You did awesome. It was really good.
It was really good.
I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on the movie, but I liked it.
It was great. It
was amazing.
Now, let's go on to some news items here.
Yes.
We just had the 6th episode of Andor.
Oh, Andor.
Andor is really good.
Really good.
A very good. I like it because it doesn't really deal with the Jedi and the Sith as much, but it morally relates. It's kind of like a political thriller because it deals with the guy that did it from Bourne, who did the Bourne movies with Matt Damon. But it also has the sci-fi fantasy, space opera-esque, kind of been in the noir, dark kind of Blade Runner-esque futurism setting. So you've got the mix of the Star Wars aesthetic with the Empire, but it's almost like Andor, he's got a unique perspective from the show. So he views the Separatist and the Empire. It's kind of like there's two flips of the coin. And this guy, without spoiling too much of the show, comes and says, okay, you got that, but why don't you come and fight these guys and join us? So he's trying to recruit him. Well, it's in the trailer.
But still, for the ones that have not seen.
He's trying to recruit him for the rebellion, and you got to watch the show because it gets wild.
It gets really
action-packed, political thriller, sci-fi space opera, amazing fantasy, great. Then you've got, they have not yet released any footage of Ahsoka, I don't believe, but they have released season 3 trailer teaser for The Mandalorian, which we're really looking forward to the Mandalorian season 3. That was going to be amazing. There's some other stuff on. If you've been following, I think at New York Comic Con, right? New York Comic Con, they released the gauntlet of comic books, and
I wish we would have gone to that one.
Yeah, that was.
We want to go to all events.
Our guys, our buddies over at IFB, they've covered it down there, and we watched their coverage. Amazing coverage. They streamed to their channel from New York Comic Con. We shared some of their shows. That weekend, we were down at the literary event, right? In Louisiana.
Yes. In New Orleans or Kenner.
They had the last Contraflow 10, which is kind of the last icing on the cake with the cherry on top of this. Been doing that for the last decade. The event has been going on, but the pandemic hit, and then it had, the people that run it. I guess they're just like, well, we're going to retire. But we're going to go out with a big show, and they had a big Death Star, 1 in a million, kid. So we're going in like beggars canyon back home. It's awesome. So they used the Force and they put on an event. It was awesome. I ran into our good friend Obi-Wan, Mr. Ben Kenobi. He's also here. Amazing part of the Rebel Legion cosplayer division. So you've got, of course, y'all know this on Stuff Fiction Star Wars, but you got the 501st Legion, the Mandalorian Mercs, Rebel Legion, and there's also the Droid Builders Club, R2 Builders Club. Mr. Chris Leffel, Michael McMasters, who's one of the main guys. Mike Sarah, he's cool too. So for the R2 Builders Club, there's a whole lot of people involved in that. They also do like Wally, and they do what else they do? R2s, choppers, pretty much any kind of droid you can imagine they build. And a lot of these guys use Arduino, different programming, different code bases, and they run these things. A few years back, I actually talked to Michael McMasters and his protege, his buddy, they're both geniuses. They're like they kind of are the main guys, especially Michael McMasters, because he did the actual, he built Chopper for like Rogue One. He also builds life size. He builds stuff for and there's several of these guys that are in the Lucasfilm Pro R2D2 Droid Builder Club. But people like Chris Leffel, he did something really cool. So he actually probably will be, his droid was there last year. I ran into him. Yeah. But he has one that's an R2, R4, I forget. It's the one from episode 1, the red droid that came with the Nabooian Royal Starship toy, the big long 3-footer.
That's like the main one.
It's the red one. That figures like $40, $50, $60. I figure by itself. But that droid, he built a life-size replica. It has the lights and the sounds all controlled, all built. I think he spent like $30,000 or something like that. Expensive. He's added on to it more. He was going to build a chopper, but he said he was going to build a little bit more less on that. And then we've got guys that we met one guy down there who built an amazing mouse droid, and he opens it up and it's got a Porg in it. It's hilarious. Yeah. So we saw in Comic-Con. So we talked to the head guys over at Star Wars Trading Cards for Topps. They have a digital trading card game for Topps. It's absolutely amazing. We talked with Sideshow Collectibles. They had an amazing some new Star Wars.
They had so much stuff there.
EXO6. We want to have you on sometime soon. EXO6 is an amazing company. They do sci-fi, but specifically they're on the Star Trek side of things. They have I'm talking like dead on. The sculpts, it looks real. It's like looking at a miniature, like it's real. Cloth clothing, the facial sculpts of every character, including 7 of 9. Captain Kirk, Spock, Tuvok. You even have a new one of Scott Bakula's character. Not from Quantum Leap, but from Enterprise. That's cool. Quantum Leap. R4D4 didn't have the defective motivator as well. No, that's from A New Hope. I think it. Can you Google the red droid in Episode 1 Star Wars?
Sure. Give me a second.
Yeah. R4D4 did have a defective motivator, and it was also featured in Mandalorian. I believe R4D4 will also be in the season 3. If I did not think, I pretty much saw R4D4 in the trailer. I believe he is in that. So R4D4 is this one. So when they redid the Power of the Force line for the 1990s, they remade R5D4. Okay. Yes. Is it R5D4?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking of R4D4. R5. Yeah, it is R5, I believe. R5D4 is the red one. Okay. Yeah. You're talking about R5D4. No, I'm talking about, I did have a defective motivator. Good evening, Michael. Check out the red droid. I'm looking, that's the one from A New Hope and Mando, but what's the red droid? The red droid, that one.
This one.
What is that one? Let's scroll down. Let's see. R2, but what is it?
Give me a second. Let me get it for
Yeah,
you.
fine. I gotta find that. That's a custom though.
This is R2 Red.
No, it's a astromech droid red, but it was featured in Episode 1 Star Wars on the Nabooian Royal Cruiser starship. Of course, a lot of them got clipped off when they're outside repairing the ship. R2 survived, and you have R2D2. It's his first appearance in ever of the prequel series, of course. But the droid's amazing. So you got Star Wars, Andor, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and then of course they have another thing, not really Star Wars related, but Willow with Warwick Davis. The show looks amazing.
Really good.
Looking forward to that. I hope, and pray they somehow fit Madmartigan in there. I know Mr. Val Kilmer, he was in Top Gun 2 Maverick. Spoiler, but of course you already knew he was in that. It was the picture Admiral Iceman. He's in there. But I believe he probably will be in some form or fashion in Willow, Madmartigan. Also, Willow himself. All the original characters are back in the show, plus some new ones. What's the girl that's in there? She was in Solo. So I forget her name. The actress is from Solo, Star Wars story. The one with the mask that was in there with Solo. She's in there. The characters in there. There's a lot of great actors and actresses in that show. There's also going to be a new. We talked about Battlestar. There's in talks to do a new Battlestar series, and possibly there's been a lot of talk about a Stargate, ramping up some new projects with that. One thing we do want to mention, if whether you're a fan of Star Wars, because we're also broadcasting on several platforms here. We're on Sci-Fiction Star Wars. We're also on Sci-Fiction regular page. What is it? Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Is that Michael J. Straczynski, who created Babylon 5, is looking for support for Babylon 5. And if any executives of studios are watching this, we highly suggest and would love to see a modernization or whatever version that can be sold. I know you're about making the moolah and the viewers and the eyeballs, which is totally understandable. We'd love to see a Babylon 5 series done properly would be totally awesome. Because, I need to talk. We need to bring Bruce Boxleitner on this show. Bruce, we're going to talk to you about that.
Or maybe do if he doesn't mind doing the live.
We should do a live with him. That'd be totally cool. And
invite him in.
Bruce is good. He's a very nice Joe. I talked to him back, was it 2013? I was in Burbank. And I didn't even talk to him about Tron. I just asked him, hey, man, just say, the speeches were epic in that show. Mm-hmm. Sheridan, you had Sheridan was the speeches were epic. You had Landau. Garibaldi. Mm-hmm. Man, he passed. A lot of the original actors, sadly, from the original Babylon have either passed or gotten older. Mira Farrell, she passed. Garibaldi's character, the Doctor, actually was there when he passed away. Here's the story with that. I was thinking, if you've ever seen the movie Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, you've got Khan, the guy that's like, sir, the shields, I can't raise them. That's Judson Scott. It was implied that he was Khan's son, more or less. He was his son. He died, of course. In the show, he's still alive. But Judson Scott, we were there with him and John Fleck, who played the Suliban from Star Trek Enterprise. And I was talking with Judson, and he said, I just got a call. And I'm like, you got a call from who? And he said, the guy who played the Doctor in Babylon, the one actor, he had a massive heart attack, like jogging or something, and died. I'm like, wow. Oh, wow. So, yeah, that was one of the first of the Babylon guys. There is a really cool guy who was friends with my good friend, Brian Held Jr., rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. There's a guy that he knows that played the guy with the staff. He was in there. He lives down, I think it was in Louisiana. But he's a super cool cat. He played Google this, Babylon 5 cast, because there's a few people I want to mention on that. Babylon 5 cast. Yeah, there's some people on there I want to shout out. Scroll, show more. Yeah. Down a little bit more. So Andreas, I never can pronounce his name. Kaslus, Richard Biggs. Yeah. Of course, yeah, back to what I was saying. Jason Carter is also, we've interviewed him a few times, super nice guy. Mm-hmm. He was also, a lot of people don't know this, but he also was the bad guy in that show, Viper, which is this 90s Viper. Yeah, Viper's bad guy.
I've heard of that one.
He was the bad guy in Viper, the movie, TV pilot movie. So Viper was like this show that was like kind of like Knight Rider, but set in the future with holographic, all these crazy guys. It's the car, you know. Of course, Knight Rider is the original, you know, version of that by Larson Entertainment. But Viper was cool. So that was a little drone also, but he was the bad guy in that. He was the guy with the staff, you know, the guy in Babylon. But he's one of Walter Koenig's still alive. He's still around. Walter's alive. A lot. Jeffrey Combs. He's, you know, he played Shran too in Enterprise. You've got a lot of actors here. Sadly, a lot of the main cast, like Jerry Doyle, who's a radio host as well, he's passed. Mira Furlan's passed. You've got Billy Mooney, he's still Peter Jurassic, who was also in Tron, by the way. He was the one that died in the games with the little thing. So these are all the actors here from Babylon. So Mr. Michael J. Straczynski is working on trying to get a petition of sorts together to do the new version of Babylon. And there's also a lot of talks for Stargate, some new projects with that. So yeah, there's all kind of goodies coming in Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar, Babylon. Let's go to comic books. We talked a little bit about the Star Wars comic books. There's a lot of stuff in DC and Marvel coming out. Marvel specifically, they just had the She-Hulk, but they're also going to be doing Armor Wars. It's no longer going to be a television series. It's going to be a movie. Trying to remember where else I heard the name Judson Scott earlier. Yes, the Phoenix. Yes, Judson Scott was in that. He also was in TNG. Season 1 episode. It was the one episode where they were transporting the stuff and that planet needed it. And he's like, shocks that because it was he was in the season 1 of the season 1 episodes. They're transporting some kind of thing that these people were addicted to, these little futuristic drugs, when in fact they didn't cure it. They were addicted to it, and they controlled the shipping of this to the planets with these little ships that were old school. Judson Scott was in that as well. Also, Merrick Butrick was in that episode as well, who played David in Star Trek 2 and 3, Kirk's son. So 2 of the original actors from actually Wrath of Connor in the same episode was kind of cool. So yeah, that's pretty neat. We were watching. I was watching a show the other day, and they mentioned some special effects for Steven Spielberg in the '90s, like some YouTube video. And there's a show. I don't know if anybody remembered it. Michael, you might remember it, called Sequest DSV with Roy Schneider, and had the late Jonathan Brandis and Don Franklin, I believe, played Commander Ford. Don Franklin's a cool guy. I reached out to him a few years back. He's kind of retired from acting now, but I would love to have him on the show. I mean, he's one of the original surviving cast members of Sequest, and he's in a lot of other stuff. But also, Ted Raimi would be a great one. Sequest, yeah. Sequest is amazing too. Sequest DSV in 2032. Michael Ironside was in that too. Also was watching some old V episodes the other day, and Michael Ironside's in that as well. You've got, so there's that, and then there's also for Star Trek and Star Wars, you got these old 90s classics, Sequest being one of them. We'd also like to have Don Franklin on the show, but there's another show that was a 1 season. They're going to do a 2nd season. That was a lot of the scripts and stuff where Michael J. Straczynski was involved with it, along with Mark Secree, who did Space Command. Mark, we'd like to have him on the live stream sometime soon to talk about Space Command. If you haven't heard about Space Command, we'll tell you a little about that here in a second. But what I'm talking about now is a show from the 80s with a gentleman who also has some cool stuff. So if Glenn Larson Entertainment did Battlestar. Now, most people don't know this, but the season 1 pilot of A-Team.
Welcome to the ones that are
Welcome to the ones everybody just joined. Thank
in.
you so much. We're talking about sci-fi, every single thing you can imagine, Star Wars, Battlestar, anything. Well,
this is Owen, and I'm Mars.
This is Mars. The first episode pilot of the A-Team was a gentleman named Tim Dunnigan. Tim Dunnigan also played in a series called Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future in the 80s. A very ahead of its time television show that had a tie-in with Mattel. And well, it was cool because like it could really do a modernization of that now. Would be amazing. But the show had a heavy drama in science fiction with character-driven drama. With ahead of the time, it uses first early generation CGI, kind of like in the kind of framework of Last Starfighter. Not super clean CGI, but still, it was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And it was about there was a big war. And the machines kind of like Terminator took over, and they have, the artificial overmind was like this AI that controlled the machines. You had Lord Dread, which was a friend of Captain Power's father, And then Captain Power grew up. His father died. He took over basically his father created the power suits, which turned one man into one man, every person, including Corporal Pilot Chase, into one man or one woman attack force. This power suits, Captain Power. Yeah. Well, season 2 was never had because Mattel parents got mad. Okay, we're not going to pay for the toys because the toys interact with the show. Another just bonus feature. Well, Mark Sacree, Michael J. Straczynski, all the legends of all pop culture worked on that series. We'd like to have you, Timothy Dunnigan, on the show as well, because also Timothy was Face in the first pilot when they got Dirk Benedict to be later. He also played Davy Crockett, which was in The Wonderful World of Disney, which was an amazing role. I don't know if he's acting anymore, Tim, but we'd love to have you on the show, Tim. So reach out to us on Sci-Fiction or Sci-Fiction Star Wars, or if you go to our site, just put contact. I think we're friends on Facebook, so he's out there too. But we've got tonight we're going to be doing Zordon, Mr. AKA David J. Fielding, tonight in about an hour and a half, talking with him. Stay tuned. This coming, so he's going to be also at Retro Expo as well, with the actor played Jason, and early seasons of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yay.
And there's a lot of great guests at that event. We're really looking forward to it. If you've never been to Retro Expo, that's put on by Heritage Event Company. Scott Kinney and his wife do an amazing job. We'd like to shout out to Mr. Mike Johnson. We're looking forward to hanging out and seeing you again, man. You're awesome. Yes. The event it's different than a lot of events. So it's retro. So it's 80s and 90s, and it's got 70s, but they bring in like all the best guests. Like last one, they had Dirk Benedict. They had, I think Lee Majors was there. Yeah.
I think so.
And the voice of Kit. I mean, he's like 90. He's an amazing guy. He's friends with David Hasselhoff. David went and checked on him a few weeks ago. He was on a broadcast and I couldn't believe it. Oh man, William McDaniels. He was the voice of Kit in Knight Rider. He's also Mr. Feeney in Boy Meets World in the new show. Amazing guy. He was there. I mean, every actor you can imagine. You had Cindy Morgan, who was also Yori in Tron. Now they're having Bruce Boxleitner. I love Tron. Bruce Boxleitner's in there. He's coming to the next one, and you've got some 18. Little sprinkles.
You made me watch Tron.
They need to get Mr. T. Tron's amazing. Tron
it's
Legacy.
Really good.
Tron Uprising, Tron Legacy, Tron, the video game. He was also in Kingdom Hearts. So, and there was another a game he was in. Well, there's the game on computer. They made a Tron game for the computer, which is cool. But they have all these retro actors and retro artists, people that work with it. The last one we did last November was Aliens themed. So you have the Aliens actors like the one that was there.
Right. And then they have the badges
when they burst out of the chest. William Hurt, of course, passed away, but she was the one there with splattered all the blood. You had actual artists in there. They got
and all the what is it?
The props. Yeah, the props are amazing.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman, I believe his name's Steven or something. He has, so here's a cool story. If you go to our Facebook, there's an interview with him. He actually one of the guys owns a lot of the actual screen used Aliens props. Is I believe Bob Burns. Yeah, Bob Burns. And he went down there and took molds off of that. He actually was the one that created the Incognito cosplay for Alien spacesuit for Adam Savage for Tested. By the way, Adam Savage, if you ever see these broadcasts, we'd love to have you on a show. We love what you do. And we'd also like to shout out to our friend Rachel Pizzolato. Rachel, how you doing, Rachel? She was on Mythbuster Jr. She's a genius. She has amazing social media following. She's very sweet.
Go follow her, guys.
Go follow her on TikTok and Facebook and also Instagram. Well, I was like, she has a lot of Instagram.
Yeah.
So follow her. She does a lot
of her TikTok too.
TikTok. Yeah, she's got a lot of TikTok. So follow her all over the social media grid.
She's a cosplayer.
She's a cosplayer. Does amazing cosplay. She's also she has patents. She's a scientist, a model, an actress also. But she was on Adam Savage's Mythbusters Jr. And the amazing stuff. One of the people I always, and rest his soul, man, always wanted to talk to was Grant Amara. Grant Amara was the ultimate geek. He was the host of Mythbusters, but he was also a robotics engineer. He did a lot of stuff like BattleBots. When he passed away, I noticed something he was creating I was right Mandalorian season 1 or season 2. He was creating a life-size animatronic Baby Yoda to take to children's hospitals to kind of brighten the kids' days and all that. And that was Sam Witwer. We'd love to have you back on. He actually is going to be at Retro Expo when you talk to him. Sam Sawyer, he's awesome. He's a big geek, by the way. Big into Star Wars. Last time I met him, we were talking about Tron the music, and Conan, Basil Palladorus soundtracks. But he was saying that I saw him on Twitter. He said that that was the last time he saw Grant before he died. He was getting that ready. So I think they have it somewhere. I don't know what they're doing with it. It'd be totally cool to see it. But yeah, so there was the animatronic Baby Yoda he was creating, and he was like a robotics genius, worked at Lucasfilm. He also worked with the Star Trek fan series.
Is that the one that we saw in Fan Expo?
I don't know if you mean
because they did have like a little Baby Yoda.
No. This was Lucasfilm qual. I mean, I'm talking like it could be the one they had at
It was really realistic.
It's either, I think they said that was $100,000. Could either be that or one close to it. But this one was he was going to use it to go to with the 501st and some of the organizations to go to children's hospitals to bring it, to kind of brighten the kids' days and everything. I don't know what they did with it. I don't know if they should use it. They definitely should use it. I would. He built that, and Sam said that it was the last time he saw him. For people who don't know Sam Witwer, he's an amazing actor. He was in Ronald D. Moore's Imagine Battlestar, and I think he died now. He was also in Being Human, which is a totally cool series for Sci-Fi Channel. He was a vampire, but it was a different take on a vampire. He wasn't like OG. He was like more like modernized. So he worked in a hospital just so he could have access to the blood bank because he had an addiction to blood, which is more like a modernized vampire. And he was also, of course, Sam Witwer is known most notably for his work with Lucasfilm, with Maul, basically taking that character to the next level and beyond. With Star Wars, Clone Wars, Rebels, he does a lot of background voices, Emperor Palpatine in the video games, and all kind of stuff. He's also a huge gamer, huge nerd, super nice dude. And Anthony Daniels will also be at Retro Expo too. We'd love to talk to you, Anthony. Actually, when I was a kid, I'll tell you a little story about Anthony Daniels. When I was a kid, I watched one of the documentaries. I forget which one it was, but there's this thing. Well, supposedly Anthony wasn't really in the sci-fi at the time, and he got a call that George wanted to test him for C-3PO. He said, well, I don't know. And so he went into like a casting office or something like that, and there was this Ralph McQuarrie painting of R2 with kind of the Metropolis version of C-3PO. And it was like it was looking at him, like almost like his destiny was looking at him right in the face. And he's been in 11 Star Wars films, including, Solo did something else, but Rogue One. So he's 11 Star Wars films, and he's just amazing. We were over at IC Collectors Convention in Nashville this past May. And he was on stage. Actually, I followed him on stage after to do some of my broadcasts for him, which I loved. That was amazing. We had to geek out. It was a lot of fun. Micah and Jay, the wrestler. Yeah, he was a cool cat. So Anthony was talking about, a lot of people, they listen to audiobooks. So he did the audiobook version of Star Wars, narrating it. His voice is like felt like gold, man, literally gold, right? So except for the red arm, it's Force Awakens. You gotta watch that. But the comic book. So basically, he is one of the original Star Wars actors and new Star Wars actors, but he does a lot of stuff with. He was a mime. He did like miming. So he got in that. Well, the original movie, when he was cast for that, he did it. They were trying to find a voice to replace his voice, and I'm like, whoa, okay. They didn't find one, so they just used his and had him go back in and dub over the voice of the movie with his own voice. So that is his real voice. It's really him, Anthony Daniels. So we'd love to talk to him about just his career and anything he wants to talk about. There's some other stuff going on too. We've got a filming project that we're working on with a friend of ours named Mr. Manu Intireme. He is doing an amazing project called The Circuit, but the first episode pilot, which we filmed out in Los Angeles, is being put together. I think it took about 6 months, he said, to get some of the stuff put together. It's called Star Crew Episode 1, Dead Planet. Yeah, Dead Planet. Yeah, amazing project. Amazing project. We cannot talk too much about the plot and stuff, but it is top notch.
Stay tuned for more.
Well, Space Command. We got to get back to Space Command. So Space Command, just remember that. Space Command is an amazing project that Mark Secree has been working on for a decade. And back in Comic-Con, day 2, we broke off after Comic-Con, drove all the way to Hollywood, California at warp speed, at light speed, all speed, got there, and we went and did the Hollywood Chinese TCL, Chinese Grauman's Theater premiere of Space Command Redemption, which was the first time I'd ever had a premiere, and it was amazing. They had actual props there's some videos on our regular science fiction page on this, on Instagram and I believe TikTok. They had props from all the stuff from the movie, but it's just loaded with amazing cast. Our friend Ethan McDowell is one of the main characters. He plays Captain Kimmer of the Paladin, a spaceship, and it's kind of the United Earth Space Command. And the show follows like 3 or 4 families over the period of like 200 or 300 years. Mm-hmm. And it's created by Marcus Cree and his wife, and it stars Mira Flerland, who recently passed away, Bruce Boxleitner, Bill Mumy, Robert Picardo, Doug Jones, the guy that was in Blade Runner and Big Trouble in Little China's in it. Tons of sci-fi and pop culture actors from days past, future now, wrestlers, you name it, everybody's in this thing. And it's an amazing project. And we got to go down there and got to preview the film at Chinese Grauman's Theater. It's the same theater where R2-D2 and C-3PO put their handprints, and the big one out in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. We did the red carpet event. We got to talk on camera with Mr. Mark about his vision of the future and what he's doing with his project. I talked with Ethan, Mr. Jacob Charlot. We had him on a radio show recently. We got to talk to the special effects, one of the visual effects artists, who also, I believe, worked in Total Recall, right? Mm-hmm. Tons of cool stuff. And we catch up with a lot of our friends were down there. It was an amazing time.
Amazing.
And we went back to Comic-Con.
Yeah, so like we flew to San Diego, and then we were invited. Then we drove from San Diego to Hollywood. And then we went back. And
then we got up. Where did we go? Santa Monica. Well, we went to hang out at the pier and just walk around.
Yeah, and it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're going back to San Diego Comic-Con in July. Yes. Before that, we're doing ICC. We're doing Retro Expo. We're doing everything that we can. We're doing filming projects, and we got the radio show.
We're hopefully get to go to the New York Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah. Well, New York next year would be great. Pete and Chris, reach out to us if you have any connections on that. We'd like to join you guys up there in New York and do that as well. Star Wars Celebrations in London this year. Mm-hmm. We would love to cover that remotely.
We would love to.
But it looks like, according to corporate, we got the news that there is no general media. And I guess Lucasfilm's doing their thing, the guys that host Star Wars show or whatever.
We were really hoping that we could, because we were already going to plan to go in.
And the thing is, it gets me. I get it. They're Lucasfilm, they're Disney. That's great. But what would be cool is if I noticed the time, what was the one for Chicago at McCormick Place, they had guests. And they had 3 of my favorite YouTube and Star Wars and sci-fi channels were there. Space Doc, which Daniel Orrit, Star Wars Explained, another amazing channel, which definitely go follow them on Facebook and YouTube and subscribe, and the Templin Institute. Well, so they're all going to do interviews with us. They had this big panel. We got them all on interviews, but the panel was all of them. So we reached out to them. It's automated. It's a corporate automation email system. So if you don't get it in 24 hours, it expires. And I'm like, well, if you don't let general media in, what about guests? And then it reset, So it's in London too. So to come to London from the U.S. and fly out there and go to the event and not be able to be let in, and so that's what, $20,000-$30,000, something like that. Hotels are price gouges at Comic-Con rates, so it's like $1,500 a night or something for the one close by. You can get one way out, but it's at the Excel Center. So we're probably not going to that one. What we want to know, we want to be curious about, is when they bring it back to the United States, whether it's Anaheim or Orlando would be amazing.
It would.
Because we love the Star Wars sneaker lot. And or if they bring it to Chicago at McCormick Place. Are they going to allow general media to be a part of the event? And if not, we need to make something happen with that, because, we need to get access to that event. And it would be great to come in there with like cameras and lights and live streams and all that. But basically, now I can make a few calls. I don't want to have to jump the gun, Greedo shot first. No, Han Solo shot first. But no, or the Millennium Falcon, or we But the thing is Star Wars is huge and is an amazing project that George Lucas and the company and Lucasfilm and all that. We'd love to be a part, even in the smallest bit of way, in that event. And also, flipping the coin completely full 100% over would be Star Trek. The Creation Entertainment event is an amazing one. I really wish they had not destroyed the Star Trek theme park at Hilton
in Las Vegas.
Oh man, it was amazing.
I didn't get to go to that
awesome.
one.
But they do have. Now I will say this: they had a bridge there for TNG, but James Cawley. We'd love to have you on a live stream, James.
Yes.
Anytime you're available or want to talk to us. I know you're busy with the museum out there in Ticonderoga, New York, and you also he's an Elvis impersonator, an amazing one too. At that, he also has his own fan series, New Voyages, but he's actually putting together his own replica, not just of the Enterprise D bridge, but I believe the full set, just like he did the TOS. He's got most of the bulk of the back and front end of the bridge command stations and stuff put together. And I don't know how long. I'd love to have him on the show to talk about his progress with that. So if you're watching, James, reach out to us. We're all over the internet, our site, or here, or wherever.
What other news do we have, hon?
Oh, yeah, lots of news. We got a few more news items here. Sequest. Anybody watching? Show us some comments. Or it looks like there's comments coming in, a few of them. From Michael, he's a genius because I really needed to know if that test. I appreciate you, Michael. The other wrapping up, we've got a few more minutes here. We can talk here. We got about 20, 15. Yeah. Double checking. We got some stuff we got to go do for bringing out some other goodies. But David J. Fielding, who played Zordon in the Power Rangers, we're interviewing him in about maybe 30, 40 minutes prepping for that. But so basically, in wrapping up, we're going to be doing a lot of coverage. We like to do the Creation Entertainment event out in Vegas. We like to do Star Wars Celebration when it comes back to the U.S. If they have any kind of stuff to make us a guest. I mean, I'm not saying have to, but it'd be amazing. We'd love to come cover it. Or be a guest and talk on stage, radio, video, audio, whatever. Yeah. So also we like to thank Subspace Channel and Subspace Network, rather, for having us on the radio station. We love talking sci-fi and pop culture and stars. We're very grateful. Randolph Allen, the Vice Admiral of the Federation, and Mr. Russ Haslitz, the President of the Federation. We're very much thankful for that. There's a lot of fan clubs we'd like to shout out to. The Battlestar Raven BFC, Battlestar Galactica fan club, 501st Legion, Tennessee Ghostbusters, the Alabama Ghostbusters. We'll see who else I'm missing. The Aliens and Predator fan club. They have awesome stuff. They have the costumes of the laser beams and all that. And pretty much every fan club we would love to shout out to. Leslie Willis of the Battlestar Galactica and BFC, yes. Raven, Battlestar Raven, Lady Dragon Lady, and all the Geeky Vengeance, Ore. Who else? Week in Geek Radio Show on WRNO 99.5. Shout out to Scungy and David DeCorbet and all of our friends. If we're missing anybody, we'll mention you in the next broadcast, because there's a lot of you out there that we know. And we
have so much stuff to talk about, but I know we just, this is our first live, but we'll come back next and talk more. We'll be doing this probably at least once a week. So share this broadcast up. If you're archiving, watching this, share this, retweet it. It's everywhere. It's on Twitter, 2 Facebooks, YouTube, and we're going to be connecting it to Twitch soon too as well. We are working on having Christopher Dahl, Blackbird CD, amazing space artist and sci-fi artist, on the show, radio show here. Probably bring him on a live stream too, sometime early November. Before that, Tom Danheiser, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Before that, tonight, David J. Fielding. And we'll have a 4th guest and many more guests to come on audio and video and beyond. So any wrapping words in closing, Isaac? Don't forget to follow us, guys. Yeah. So that does help to follow us on the social media. You're probably we have our main one's Facebook, TikTok, and then we have the Star Wars Facebook, right. And then we have the regular. So we got two Facebooks, facebook.com sci-fiction, and then sci-fiction SWs and Star Wars. If you love Star Wars, we're going to be bringing tons of content. We're just in the beginning stages of bringing content. It's going to be quite a wild ride. So subscribe to that for the Star Wars. And TikTok. And here's something. So YouTube, we're trying to build our numbers on YouTube. YouTube is extremely hard to build numbers on. We've been trying to build it our content has been evolving. We've been getting bigger and bigger guests, so more and more polished. We're trying YouTube channel, and just go ahead and subscribe to us, guys. Like our content, because subscribe and follow the page. Yeah, subscribe and follow. We are going to be just raining content on that page. Premium stuff, and we're going to be doing a lot of live streams on there, which I'm sure that'll get some traffic. We're not about the traffic, so we're trying to bring the ultimate goal of sci-fiction, Star Wars, and all that we do is to bring the ultimate quality, top-level journalism, behind-the-scenes science fiction, pop culture, Star Wars, Battlestar content to every single person we can. And we're utilizing the 21st century community social media tools, such as Facebook and Twitter and yada, 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 to bring it to you as our broadcast platform.
So first version of this is testing out the simulcast features of the different things we've got hooked up here. Eventually, we're going to have like mics next to it. We're going to get all that decked. That's all coming.
So, but this is our first one
officially.
I know we tested a little bit earlier, but it's just this is our official first one.
Mark 1, first go at it. Take 3, take 4, take 5.
But we have so much less that we want to talk about, but at the same time, we want to spread it out with you guys as well, and just be more personal with you guys, and so you can really get to know Owen and myself and our geekiness.
All the sci-fi, Star Wars, Battlestar,
so for whoever joined us, thank you for joining us. Next time, you guys, give us some thumbs up, some comments that makes us know that you guys are watching us. And until next time.
One little quick thing before we close. If anybody wants to be on this broadcast as a guest,
let us know.
On a radio show or both.
We'd love for you guys to join us. We'll invite you, and we can have a conversation. Why not?
Especially if you have any cool. We really want people as well. Anybody, everyone. But if you have a cool project you're doing, whether it's a fan film, you're doing a sci-fi or pop culture, simple Star Wars. If you've got comic book. If you're an actor, a producer, a writer, a creator, a prop builder, a cosplayer, or
you're barely just starting
to.
We love for you guys to join us, so we can have a conversation all together.
Yes. Well, that about wraps it up for this first broadcast. We covered a lot of topics.
Yeah, we did.
Well, check us out on social media at Sci-Fiction on Facebook and Twitter, and Sci-Fiction SW on Sci-Fiction, our Star Wars page. And we're also on TikTok at Sci-Fiction, Instagram, and a lot of other networks. You can find them on our website at scifiction.com. It's Owen for Sci-Fiction and
Mars.
Signing off. Y'all have a beautiful evening. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, guys. We'll see you next Sunday.
Week sometime around this time. Everybody have a beautiful evening.